Do you know the best way to play this suit combination for one loser? Well, if you're a beginner and you've never heard of it, then you might be playing this wrong. If you're an intermediate or expert player who has heard of this suit combination before, do stay tuned because there's more than meets the eye. So let's get started. Imagine you are declaring this 6 no trump contract and South leads the 10 of cups, 0-1 leads, you knew that already, top of double turn. Plan your play. So what this declarer did was to win in the East hand and then play a diamond to the ace and a small diamond back, and when no honor appeared, East was put to a guess, or so they thought. And East chose to play the 10, and that was won by my king. So that was great because East did guess that partner had the jack. Unfortunately, when I returned the club and they cashed the queen of diamonds, diamonds did not break and they just claimed down one because what else can you do? Now, here's the thing. There is no diamond guess because there is just one strictly superior way of playing the diamonds. So I think in this situation, a lot of people think, oh, okay, I have to guess who has the jack and who has the king, right? But what this declarer did is the worst of all. Realistically, there's 3 ways of playing the diamonds. One would be what declarer did, playing to the ace and then playing towards the 10. If a jack or king appears, great, there's no guess, right? The other way would be to play towards the queen instead of the 10. And at this point, it does seem like it's a guess, like who has the jack versus the king. The last way would be to lead a queen from the east hand, intending to finesse south for the king. Now let's compare some lines. Let's say you play towards the ace and then you play a diamond back. Now do you play the 10 or the queen? Well, most people would think it's a guess, but it really isn't because, if it's 3-3, it's a guess. But the thing is, if diamonds are say 4-2 and someone has king double turn, if you play the 10, then okay, yes, you might guess that North has a jack. But if South has king double turn, just like what happened in this particular scenario, and even though you guess the diamond right, then you're still going to have to lose another diamond. On the other hand, if South has jack double turn and you play the queen, then you can actually bash out the king of diamonds right now and you will get 4 tricks in diamonds. So I think the way to think about this is, if you guess correctly, what can go wrong? And if you guess correctly, what can go right? So in this case, if you guess that North has the jack correctly and you play towards the 10, what can go wrong? Well, South has king double turn, right? Whereas if you guess correctly that South has a jack, so you play the queen, what can go right? Well, South can have just jack double turn. So in this way, playing small towards the ace and then towards the queen is better than playing small towards the ace and then towards the 10. So it's not a guess here. There's only one way to place. But what is better than both of these lines is playing the queen out. Now, why would one play the queen out? It seems rather counterintuitive to play an honor first. You know, what if it loses to like a singleton honor somewhere, right? Well, yes, that is one possible downside. But the thing is, here, you actually get to catch king on side. Here, if it's 3-3, then it's kind of like a guess. But if it's 4-2, then you can actually catch king double turn with South and also jack double turn either way, right? So by playing the queen first, this is better than playing towards the ace and towards the queen because now you actually get to catch all the king double turn cases with South. The only time you lose out is when North has a singleton king, right? If South has a singleton king, you can just win with the ace and then bash out the jack, right? So you're still making a contract here. So the only time you really lose out is when North has singleton king, which is much less likely than South having king double turn. So this is why playing the queen first is better. But it's not just that. So first of all, just the suit in isolation, playing the queen first can get you 4 tricks more often than any other line. But here's the thing. By playing the queen first, you actually give yourself an extra chance. So if say North wins with the king, then you kind of have no choice. You only have one line to play, right? Which is playing for the jack to drop. But there's also another world where no one wins the king. And in some of these cases, if you continue playing diamonds, then you're actually going down. For example, like South has king jack small small, king jack small small, or all the diamonds, right? And of course you won't know that unless of course North throws out, then you kind of have no choice. And South can't cover with the king because if South covers with the king, then now you just only lose the jack of diamonds, right? So in these cases, South cannot cover with the king. So actually you just win one whole trick for free. And in this case, you could actually pivot to hearts breaking 3-3 if you wanted to. But of course, before you do that, you have to calculate which is more likely to work. What are the cases where the king wouldn't win the trick. I think it's fair to assume that if playing the queen of diamonds was wrong, then opponents would have taken it to ensure that the contract goes down. So I think we can rule out all those cases. So I think the cases where South might duck will be king jack 4 card, king jack 5 card, king jack 6 card, you have no choice. Okay, so that will be 6 cases of king jack 4 card and 4 cases of king jack 5 card, which brings us to 10 cases in total. So now we have to compare these 10 cases against when playing the diamond is still correct. So if you rule out all those cases where we are supposed to go down, then there's only a few cases left where declare it dark and diamond is still correct. And to figure this out, I think you have to think in the shoes of the defenders. I feel like, practically speaking, when will opponents duck the king, I think it's probably South has king, small, king for card. Because given that West is the dummy with ace double turn, right? Like South can see that if they just don't cover, they're going to score the king. And I guess for other cases, like in theory, they could duck the king. For example, South has king double turn or North has king for card. Okay, so for South having king double turn, like when does it pay to not cover? I think almost never, because the next thing that's coming is the diamond to the ace. So South's going to just insert the king because they can, right? And I mean, you can see dummy only has one more diamond, so they can only finesse one more time. For king for card with North, I guess in theory, North could duck it, but I think it's very, very, very difficult to do so. Because, maybe South just has one more trick. Then by ducking the diamond, then you're handing them their contract. So I think practically it's not happening. And like if South has king jack small, in theory they could duck, but also I think they're probably not ducking, because if they cover, then now the jack's a trick. If they don't cover, then the queen scores for free and declarer might pivot to something else. Like at this point, no one really knows anything about the hand. And for the rest of the cases, they either have no choice but to take it. For example, like if they have king jack double turn, then it doesn't no good to duck it. Or they would have taken it and you'll be going down. Or, South would have played their singleton king, or someone singleton jack would have dropped. Those are the rest of the cases. So for now, the times where opponents will have ducked the king and continuing with diamonds is still correct would be just king small and king for card with South. So that would be 6 cases for king small and 4 cases for king for card. And playing the diamond is wrong would be king jack for card, which is 6 cases, and king jack 5 card, which is 4 cases. So actually it's 10 to 10. Also there's void, which by now you have known that the diamond is not going to work and you have no choice but to play on hearts. So based on that, we can estimate, like, given that the queen held, then we are making our contract about 50% of the time. Let's say it's more than 50%, because like king small and king 4 card, if South is just more likely than king jack 4 card and king jack 5 card, right? It's just less likely that diamonds are breaking 5-1. So it's like 10 more common cases than 10 less common cases. We'll get to that later. On the other hand, the hearts break 3-3 less than 50% of the time. So we don't even need to calculate like the exact cases, because now we just know that playing on diamonds is better. But here's the interesting thing. What if the layout of the hand was slightly different and East had 3 card heart? Then in that case, right, if there's 5 missing hearts, then there's 32 ways for the hearts to break. And as long as it's 3-2, then it's better to pivot to hearts. And if hearts break 3-2, then actually playing on hearts will have worked. And the number of ways that hearts break 3-2 is 20 cases out of 32, which is significantly more than 50%, right? Which would have been the probability of the diamonds working. A bit more than that. But I think it's okay to just compare cases to cases, because now we know that 3-2 break is more common than the like 4-1 break and 5-0 break. So we are underestimating the probability that playing the hearts works. And we are also underestimating the probability that playing the diamond will work. So I think here we can kind of compare it in that way, because we are underestimating both. Yeah, so if the hand was slightly different, then it would actually have been better to pivot to hearts, which means that actually leading the queen of diamonds is not just better by the number of cases. It's better because if the queen holds, then you have a whole other route to make your contract, which gives you even better odds than before. So yeah, I thought this hand was really interesting. I mean, not the actual hand, because in the end, playing the diamonds would still be better than switching to hearts halfway if the queen held. I mean, it's still interesting because you have to consider that, and then you also have to think of like when the king would be ducked, which I guess Maybe some of you might not agree when the king will be dark, but I think that's how I would have processed it. And that's kind of the beauty of the game. I think you can look at the information and think differently, like what the possibilities are. Yeah, which makes this game just so much more interesting. So yeah, I thought this hand was really interesting. For beginners, I hope you learned about the suit combination. And for advanced players, I hope that you realize it's not just about that suit combination. I mean, you knew that already, but yeah, I thought this was a very interesting tidbit to point out that by playing the queen first, you actually give yourself extra chances. Because like if you just played to the ace, let's say the cases are the same, right? You just played the ace. Let's say all the ways of playing the suit combination are equal. You play towards the ace and then you lose. Now you have no second chance, right, of making the contract. I mean, I guess in theory there's squeeze chances, but you're always just gonna like hope that diamonds break, right? So yeah, I thought this hand was really interesting and I hope you enjoyed it too.